Here. Good morning, Mr.
Collect those fines.
Our badges. What do you expect? Okay. Started the meeting. Oh, you got trouble. You got trouble.
What are you talking about?
I don't know if the badges are intended to come.
Uh-oh, somebody's taking my box out here.
Talk about a fine.
We're gonna start with the program.
Okay, sounds good.
So it'll give you a little more time to get wound up.
All right, that's good.
All right, so in the interest of timing for Austin and his guests, we're gonna do the program first, and then we're gonna move into the exciting world of Wayne and other fun things, including the dance. So, Austin, you have the floor, please.
I will. I would like to introduce my guests, two guests, Randy Killian and Lisa Carroll. Lisa is the coordinator for the Special Olympics. At the Soup Kitchen, we have a lot of special needs folks who work there weekly. And so when the Olympics come around and everybody starts getting, you know, they're talking about practice, I got to hear about tennis every day. And then they come in with all their medals. It really just warms my heart every time I see it. And Lisa does a great job in this community, and she's been honored in a lot of ways. I continue to show up to these events where she's being honored. It's great. And I don't know if you've seen her, but she's been in the paper as well for her service. She's from Claremont. She worked at CommScope, a part-time student in the MBA program at Gardner-Webb. She's the local county coordinator for Catawba County Special Olympics. That is a mouthful. And since July of 2015. She was a volunteer 2 years before. She has an adult 19-year-old child who began as an athlete when she was 8 and has completed leadership at Catawba. And of course with the Chamber of Commerce, graduate of Partners Policy Making, committee member on 2 committees at Partners. Is that Behavioral Health Management? Mm-hmm. Right, yes. Tina Willis, love her. And was on the board for the Family Support Network. And Randy here is an athlete, and he lives in Hickory and is a volunteer, a fundraiser, and involved with community relations for the county program. So if you would join me in welcoming them, and they'll tell us all about what they do.
Okay, so me and Randy, we are not professional speakers, so please forgive us, okay? But everything we say does come from the heart. This is Randy's first time publicly speaking. He's been out in the community, people took pictures of him, but he last month went to Raleigh and completed training for Global Messenger training for Special Olympics, the first one for our county. So to get Randy over his nerves, we're going to go ahead and let him do his part first, okay? So just Randy, tell me, what year did you start doing Special Olympics?
1983.
Okay. And so, what do you like about it?
Being healthy.
Being healthy. Can you tell them a little bit what you've done to do your health on your own and with exercise?
I think I got better more.
Mm-hmm. And about how much weight did you lose by?
I've lost about almost 90 pounds.
All right.
He was on 5 pills a day for diabetes, so he has took control of his health on his own. So what areas and stuff were you involved in Special Olympics?
Basketball and softball.
Okay. Have you done anything else in the past?
Yeah, the torch run and pole plunge.
Yeah, and Randy works with the Hickory Police Department on their state program. I don't know if you guys have probably seen the paper. For all of North Carolina, our Hickory Police Department is the top supporter for Special Olympics North Carolina. I mean, they're great. And so he goes to every event up there that they have as well. And so this year, what are you playing for our fall tournament?
Basketball.
Okay. And usually our fall tournament's in High Point, but where's it going to be this time for the first time?
In Charlotte.
In Charlotte. So we're all excited about that. And so you know the other sports that we got going on every weekend? Tennis. Soccer. And we just added flag football this week for the very first time. So we got some guys that are really pumped up about that. And what's our big event that everybody in Catawba County thinks that's the only thing for Special Olympics?
Spring games?
Mm-hmm. Field and track. That's been one of our main issues, is a lot of people in this county think spring games is the only Special Olympics in our event. It's a one-day event thing. That's where all 3 school systems bring in all the students that their parents give them permission to participate. And that's why me and Randy are here to try to get out the word that we are an all year round program, that we've got athletes that are working at all times. Typically at spring games in the spring, we have 255 athletes, and right now in the fall and summer games, I registered 65 athletes Sunday night to go to fall tournament in Charlotte. So is there anything else you want to say? Okay. Randy, how many medals do you have?
35.
So he couldn't wear all them. So.
Impressive, you would have walked in like this.
And Randy's got a really good buddy named Justin Walker, who is a big volunteer at the Sioux
Boy, he's
Kitchen.
excited about the basketball.
Yeah, so.
He don't like losing.
No, he don't. Well, you want to go ahead and sit back down and maybe pass your pictures around while I talk to them?
Yep.
Okay. So, like I said, we really want everybody to know that we have a lot of dedicated athletes out here that want to be in a real sports league. And like I named our fall sports, and in January we will start swimming, we will start bowling, and we'll start softball. And we've been really fortunate. 2 years ago we made contact with LR, and their swim team started coming out and providing us a lifeguard. And this past year, LR offered, and they helped us do a 2-county swim meet on a Sunday afternoon against Burke County. And that was, I mean, I couldn't believe how much the students here pitched in. And currently, LR had about every third practice, LR is bringing their tennis team out to practice with us too, and on Sunday afternoons. Special Olympics for all of North Carolina, averaging they have 38,000 students or athletes statewide that participate in some kind of Special Olympics event each year. Currently, like I said, we have about 325 countywide that does at least one event a year. And my main goal for this next year is to include the adults that's graduated, because a lot of us parents feel like or think that once their student gets out of school that they can't participate. So me and Randy and a couple other athletes are trying to go to different organizations and get these adults that's not been a participant for 10 years and get them back in our program. So our goal for 2018 is to add softball skills, because a lot of our softball players like Randy are getting to where they don't really want to play softball as much. They just want to go help me. So, and our next, and 2, we are wanting to add a new program that Special Olympics is really pushing, is young athletes, and it's from ages 2 to 7, and it's to try to get individuals that are the ages from 2 to 7, just to give them an adapted PE program and to let parents get together and socialize and get an early start on our program. The biggest need that we have right now, maybe I was hoping maybe somebody may know a contact or somebody might be interested. We've got a lot of guys that are adults that are wanting to gain golf skills. Not necessarily, meet every week, maybe just meet once a month for an hour or so to learn how to do some golf, maybe build up in 2 years, go to the state game in Charlotte. But that's every time we have a little award session or something, all the guys like, when you gonna get us somebody to do golf with? So if anybody knows of any students that do golf, that need volunteer hours, please let Austin know and he'll let me know. As I said, the Hickory Police Department is one of our biggest sponsors, and they do a great job. I didn't realize this until I come into the program. The money that the Hickory Police Department raises, it goes to the state, which is great, and then 15% of it comes back to our county. So that's a big misconception, because people see in the paper that all the money is raised by Hickory Police Department. They think that it goes just to this county, but it doesn't, which that's not the point. I mean, so like when we go to state games in Charlotte, we have to pay for van transportation for the athletes that can't get down there with their family member. We pay for uniforms. We, by doing some dedicated fundraising this year, I was able to, I've started an awards program, because about 10% of our athletes get to go to state tournament. So then we've got, in the past, we have all these other athletes that don't really get an award. So this past year we set up, I have a banquet at the end of the season, and I'm making sure that each athlete gets either a trophy, a plaque, and because we can't give trophies for sports events, but we can give trophies and medals and plaques for awards. They get the medals at state games. And and two, we've had a really hard time getting facilities because the school system's so booked up. So that was one of our biggest problems, but now I've learned the ins and outs and I've made good communication with all three school systems, and we've been able to get to rent the facilities for a really reduced rate, where in the past, that was the big thing. But Catawba County school system will let us have the basketball game for $10 an hour, where they usually charge $25. So we're doing really good on that. And that's another outreach program that I've already arranged. I don't know if you know, CVCC has an adult basic education class for adults. Mm-hmm. And I met with her, and we are going to have, the big problem with her students not being able to come is, for Special Olympics, you have to have a physical completed every 3 years to say that you're able to participate. And as I said, a lot of the adults that qualify for Special Olympics, the big thing is to get the physical completed. So I've contacted a local family practitioner, and in February we're going to have something called a Med Fest. And she's going to go out to CVCC, and she's going to complete one-day medical assessment for all the students that want to come. So we're hoping for our spring games, it's not just going to be students this year, that we're hoping we're going to add about 40 adults that's being off the program, and we're going to bring them back in so they can start being full athletes with us again. So that's my spiel. I know I talk fast, but I'm sorry, but has anybody got any questions?
I made that 5-mile run from Hickory to Fairgrove many times when I was younger and much thinner.
Okay.
I'm retired from Hickory PD. Yeah.
And we appreciate that. And this year we was able to get a new teacher sign on as spring games coordinator, and she was nominated. She received the City of Hickory Human Rights Council Award. So that was a big honor for us to really, to know that people are recognizing our program and to see that we're here.
Your funding is strictly through fundraisers?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
How many times a year do you do that?
Well, we are just we're just doing, I've been writing for grants. The last 2 years, it just comes and goes. Basically, for our program we do at spring games, we sell t-shirts and food. But I'm currently now doing a fundraiser letter for this year that I'm sending out I went to the Chamber of Commerce and got a list of their businesses, and that's what we're working on now.
What kind of financial resources do you need?
Basically, we at any time of the year for spring games, it costs estimated $4,000 to do the whole program, to do the t-shirts. For summer games, this year my total bill to send the 3 sports, and that was to pay for our lodging, our food, and everything, was $3,600. And this year for fall games, I think I averaged the other day, I'm estimating $4,200.
So about a $12,000 annual operating budget.
Yeah, and next year, like I said, we're hoping we're going to add the Young Athletes program, so that will probably add about $2,000. And this year we did have one athlete sign up and go to equestrian state, the horse. And so we're hoping next year we increase that from 1 athlete to 6, and that would probably go, it cost me $400 for her, so that would probably add, if we get the 6 athletes, which I think we will, that'll be about $2,000.
Special Olympics an autonomous organization? You're not part of another organization that's
It's just
Special Olympics?
Special Olympics International.
And how much local professional or paid staff?
Completely volunteer. I work at
She has a
Comscope.
job.
I work at Comscope during the day in the R&D engineering lab, and, no, everybody in our county is completely volunteer. We hope one of these days that we can get up, that's my big goal, is to get our funds up and to get enough communication. I would love to have a part-time paid staff. I love this job, but, like especially in the springtime doing the weekend sports and spring games, March and April, I usually put in 40 hours a week plus my job. Right now, I'm putting in about 20. And I love it, I do love it, but that's my main goal. It was in 2015 when the state come and asked me to take over the program, it was like to the bare minimum. And so I've got a couple ladies that help me, but I would really love for us to get a part-time staff so you can, we can be doing stuff all the time. One of the big problems is we got 3 different school systems. A lot of the counties have a lot of the counties that have one school system, the school system has said that they would have, a part-time dedicated staff. So unfortunately, this county's not been able to get that right now. So, but I'm still pushing.
And having had kids attend the Olympics, it is an amazing.
They come
thing
back
to watch.
wired up.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And this past year, for the first time too, we have always given out ribbons. And this past year at spring games, we gave out local gold medals to all athletes, and we've raised up enough funds, and everybody really liked it. So this coming year for our 50th anniversary, it's going to be no ribbons, all gold, silver or bronze medals that all athletes in this county will get. And they were like, a medal? They were just like ecstatic over that.
Does Piedmont Council of Governments do anything to help you?
No, not that I know of. I don't think I've applied for one of their grants. Do they have grants?
They have some funding.
Do they? Okay.
But, because they also participate with adult senior games.
Okay.
And it seems like it would be a natural offshoot from that. Golf skills. Have you approached the Piedmont Council Boy Scouts about having a couple Eagle candidates run a program?
No. I did ask the Boy Scouts last year, but it was late notice to help us come set up.
That would be, if you just saw the wall visit in Conover, the Eagle Scout project was a knockout.
Okay.
And it seemed to be a couple of them. There must be golfers in that crowd that we could. Go ahead.
Hickory High's kids all have to have volunteer hours, and they have a golf team.
Do they? Okay. I'll reach out to them for sure.
I was gonna say, if you wanted some of these guys, they'd probably just do the training themselves.
Play golf, it's concentrating. Do you have anybody playing tennis? I saw for the first time wheelchair tennis over the weekend. I was at the US Open and I just looked at it for a moment, thought that'd be kind of boring. Amazing thing I've ever seen.
Now, on Sunday afternoons, we have tennis at Freddie Ford, and about 5 years ago it started, and they had like 6 athletes. Now we have about 18 coming out, and LR College started 2 years ago coming out, and now they're coming out every 3rd Sunday, and they bring a crew with them. And so our tennis program is really grew. So yes, we do have tennis, and it's a wonderful program.
So as you pointed out, we oftentimes just think of the track and field for Special Olympics, and now you've opened up a whole area here of team sports. And I'd like to know how what benefits do you see from the team sports as opposed to the individual sports, like socially for the athletes?
Well, like this year, we added back basketball skills. So on Saturdays from 2 to 3, we have basketball skills. That's the building, and then we have 5-on-5. To me, as having a daughter that's participated in the past, it's just socialization, and in the IDD world, intellectually disabled, their network of friends is very small. Okay, it's sad, but it's the truth. Especially even with social media, most typical high school kids, college kids have 200 friends. But in their environment, there's only 10 or 20, even if they're 25 years old. So they don't necessarily, most of them don't have cars, so they have to depend on someone else to take them somewhere. So just on a Saturday afternoon, to get out and play ball, and, talk to the guys, or on a Saturday morning play softball, I mean, it's just self-esteem and to feel like that you're doing something. Of course, we want them to be physically fit, but it's just the socialization and having self-worth is the big thing that really makes me keep pushing. Because my daughter's very social. I pushed really hard. She was 2 months old and got meningitis. And so that has caused the intellectual disability, and she has 4 different types of seizures. And so I put her, travel with her for 3 different cheer gyms on special needs cheerleading, and I paid for it, but it was worth it because it worked out in high school. The cheer gym, in high school at Bunker Hill, the cheer coach come up and she was varsity cheerleader the last 2 years of high school. So she brought inclusion she bought unified sports, and I'm telling you, she can't read or write, but she can remember any cheer and do any kind of dance. When she was 8 years old, I took her to cheerleading, and she couldn't even do a cartwheel. This past year, I walked into Fred T. Ford at a basketball game. She went straight across the court and did 5 cartwheels and down in front of the whole crowd, and was just like, hey, here I am. And she was prom queen this year at Bunker Hill High School. And in June of 2015, she was Special Olympics North Carolina Athlete of the Month. Each month they have an athletes that they nominate statewide, and she made that. And so now she's moving on to her adult life, and so she's like, Mama, I'm not going to be an athlete now. I want to be on your committee. So she does a lot of, she doesn't speak a lot yet. We're working on it. I want her to build up like Randy. But so she is big on, she's wanting to become an ambassador for our program, which is a level lower. And my next goal for her is we are applying this fall for her to go to UNC Greensboro Beyond Academics Intellectual Disability Program. And UNC Greensboro is a big backer of Special Olympics as well. So that's what I'm working on for her right now, is to live her college dream and to go to a 4-year program. So to me, like I said, it's just self-worth for them to, as individuals like Randy, it has been a blessing for them to come out here and to help me to do this program. And for Randy's 48, so he's wanting this program to continue for the little ones that are coming up as well, so they can be active.
Good job.
Yep.
Now that you sat down, it's time to stand.
Okay.
Randy, if I could have you stand as well. We have a little gift for you all.
Wait till Gavin gets his camera ready.
Oh, wait, we have to get pictures. You're good. I think it's okay.
They thought it was ready.
These are speaker gifts that we have for you. Thank you for coming to be with us. These are made by Wayne, our Sergeant at Arms, and that'll help you keep your desk area nice and dry on these humid days.
And I do need that at work, I do.
Randy, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you speaking.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you send that picture to Austin and he'll text it to me?
Sure. You all are.
I'll take my phone.
Yeah. Austin's got to run off.
And I'm gonna run so I can get on into Comscope and test some camera. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Randy. See you later.
Good job, Randy.
Thank you. See how you enjoyed that.
Okay, I will. I thought I recognized you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Randy, we are ready for you.
All right, good morning again, Rotarians. We have,
Oh, you mean we still have to have Wayne?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Devin, thank you. We have a Donald Hicks Award. Donald, I need $1 from you for coming in, and let's see, Robert, you have money.
Yeah, some change on.
We started
I need to put some in the bucket too.
All right.
Here, I'll cover it.
And who's collecting for Richard?
It's covered, all right,
Wayne,
good deal.
Wayne,
Yes, sir.
who's collecting for Richard?
I will tell you in a second. We're gonna do that. Got a little now.
Didn't get my car repaired yet.
Okay. We have a guest this morning again, and interest, Joe Westfield. Westfall. Okay. All right, glad to have you with us again, Joe.
Don't you think we should fine Rick for not being here to introduce us?
Well, he's missed the last two meetings, but he was busy this week. It's been,
Okay.
Yeah.
Give him a bye then.
I know, so
All right.
we'll excuse it. Next week, if he's not here, we'll settle the score. We'll get it settled. Okay, good deal. Joe, glad to have you with us. All right, first thing, got a couple items. Hickory Daily Record.
Uh-oh, you're up, buddy.
All right, we have a picture of a Rotarian right here in the paper. Anyone recognize this picture? You recognize who that is?
I think he's a member of the
Oh, that guy
senior.
there?
Yes, sir. All right. Dealing with the Vietnam traveling wall. Okay, we have Rotarians involved. And fortunately, we have one nice story, really nice story. And I think Jim has done a lot. And to tell his story here is important. So I'll pass this around. As a result, you have $1 to put in the bucket. Because we are service above self. So if you read this story,
Absolutely.
if you read this story, you will understand service above self. Okay. All right.
He may serve, Mr. Sergeant at Arms, he may serve though, but he's a terrible shot. I saw him take 3 rounds and not hit a thing.
Oh, really? All right, good deal.
They didn't include everything they talked to me about.
Well, there's a nice story. Okay, next item. Got to handle this. This is one of those issues you have to handle. Okay, Richard Tucker gave me a call, and he said that Jake was running low on food, and that we all haven't contributed the $1 for the food. And he's concerned that Jake will have enough food to carry him. So if you need to make up this, we'll collect all the food money, and Glenn and I will handle that. So be sure to put your $1 in the pot. We want to keep Jake happy. All right,
Here's food money.
Glenn,
Yes, sir.
have to ask you a question. First one, is it true? Okay. The badges, one Rotarian took the badges and hid them back in the kitchen.
Oh, my.
I had to go out every time. Glenn, do you have anything to say about that? Were you involved in that?
Is
it the truth?
Is it the truth?
My counselor.
Don't say a word.
Anyone?
Well, just find him.
I'm gonna get ready to find.
Well,
All
I'll
right,
pay his, but he's my counselor. So.
all right.
If you don't say no, he says yes.
Is there another Rotarian and you're looking for legal advice?
I don't know, is there?
Have you been consulted by another one?
I got him first, so he can't file a conflict motion.
All right.
I think Steiger has me on retainer.
All right. All right, can you speak about this?
Not going to.
Okay.
Council pay.
Get him on retainer myself.
I'm serious.
All right. David.
Bob, just wait till you see this.
I know it's.
All right, need your attention. All right. How is your daughter doing in New York?
I had to
Is she
go up-
still stressed?
I had to go up this weekend because she needed help. She's psychologically distraught. She's having nightmares. She sees Bob Steiger's face just blooming when she switches the light off. She just every time she walks down the street, she's
There is nothing distressed about that girl. We're having a ball.
All right, I need $1 from
No,
you, just
okay.
let his dad. His dad has described her condition, and he would not exaggerate.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
All right, I need $1.
I'll owe you a buck.
Okay. We'll get
Bill, I
it.
hadn't already paid it.
I covered
for my car.
Next week,
There's his buck.
Here's the dollar, Wayne, here's the
next,
dollar.
okay, next week, Ronald McTavish. I'll be back.
Can you believe
So
that?
all of you saw his
All
picture.
right.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's
be
horrible.
thinking about this. I do have some information I'm passing along. And Gavin is distraught over this.
I'm distraught all the time.
Anyway,
Take
he'll be
between
back
7
next
and 8
week.
on Wednesday morning.
I was distraught once, but now I'm distraught all the time.
Now you're just distraught.
All right, good deal. Any other item come before the club meeting? Bill?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your tireless work in improving our financial situation.
It is a stressful job, let me tell you, it is.
Okay. Through the good work of our club, we have a thank you note from Southwest School about backpacks, and I'll read that to you. Addressed to Sunrise Rotary Club. Southwest Primary faculty and staff would like to thank the members of the Sunrise Rotary Club who donated the hundreds of dollars worth of backpacks loaded with school supplies such as crayons, scissors, folders, markers, pens, pencils, rulers, paper, glue sticks, and more. Please know that your efforts have made a difference and we have touched so many lives. We wish you could be here to see the happy faces of the kids as well as their parents when they pick up their backpacks and supplies. Your efforts really lift a financial burden that most can't afford. On behalf of all the children and parents of Southwest Primary, we thank you for so generously preparing them for the new school year. Having these necessities in place is a critical first step to a successful academic year. The support we receive from strong community partners like you makes a big difference in our ability to help our students and families. Your caring spirit is greatly appreciated. Signed, Stephanie, oh my, Deshavi, principal at school. Thank you for helping me on that one. All right, so there you go. So it is nice, you know, that our efforts with the school have helped so much. And speaking of schools, thanks to Steve Hunt, we've accomplished our goal with Mountain View Elementary School of helping to provide them with these folders. I'll remind you in case you've forgotten what this is all about. Every year they set up a new set of folders for the students at school, and it helps them organize papers that go home with them, an area for return to school, and a section for keep at home, so that the parents hopefully stay involved in what's going on with the students, and papers that need to be signed or whatever to come back. They have in the past years had some other business partners that have helped them with this. This year their business partner wasn't able or chose not to participate, and Steve got wind of that last minute. They found out. So we stepped up and we helped them with $1,315 and some pennies, I think, right?
13, 14, 50.
13, 14, 50. To provide these folders, and we have a very nice, thanks to Gavin's work on this, we have a very nice bit of information down here about the club. I'll pass this around so that you can see that. They are exceedingly grateful for the work that we did with them, because had we not provided that money, it's $1,300 that would have come out of someplace in their meager budget to pay for this. So we made a big dent for them.
Plus it's going home to over 700 families where parents can see what we're doing.
Right,
And it may be a great tool for the group.
Good visibility to the club, absolutely. And it fits right in with our whole overarching goal of being involved in education in our community. So we're very grateful for that. And by the way, they spoke highly of Classroom Connections and the work that Donald Hicks is doing with that, because we talked about lack of funding in schools and how teachers go through so much. So again, Donald, thank you so much for your work there. They have offered for us an opportunity to be on T-shirts for the fall festival. They're so thankful for us, as usually that goes on the T-shirts for sponsors for the fall festival. And they would like to provide our club the opportunity, for no extra cost, by the way, to be involved in the T-shirt, to be on the T-shirts. And so they've asked for a business card size bit of graphic And I don't know, Gavin, do you think what we put in there would work? Do we need something else to go on the?
I think if it's only to be that size, then the resolution should be okay with, I mean, because that's business card sized or a little bigger than. So I guess we could probably take that logo and put, you know, just our name next to it or something. Is that what we're talking about?
Could be, yeah. Do you have the time? Can you give, you've already been in contact with Ms. Wilkinson before.
I
Anita.
have one that Kenny sent me when we put the logo on the back of my t-shirt at Southwest.
Oh, perfect.
I already have one,
Perfect.
Oh, great.
so then you wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel, because
Okay.
Kenny sent me one.
Okay,
I just have to get it out of my email. If you will, I can email it to you.
okay,
And you
that'd be
can
fine.
get
Then
it
I
to
can
where-
pass it on to them. That'd be great.
Who
So,
was that you said we were doing it?
Mountain View Elementary
Oh, okay.
for their fall festival. Yeah, they're so excited about us. I was talking to the principal, and she was so excited about us being involved in the folders that we'd love to give you some more visibility for our fall festivals. So
Exposure.
exposure. There you go. Yeah. All
Who's
right.
that PR, not PR, what do we call it?
Public image.
Yeah, who was that public image chair?
Gavin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'll let you talk about President in just a second. Glenn,
Yes.
speak to us for a moment, please, about our budget situation and how we're spending money, would you please?
Yeah, we're in good shape. I'm gonna pass around the August report along with the August bank statement and cleared checks, so I'll go that
Or
way.
you just tell us. rather
Well,
than-
I mean, I just want everybody to have a chance to take a look at it, but through the end of August, we're in good shape. We've got a balance of, actually it's gonna be a little less than this. We have a balance $31,672.26. Through the end of August, I have written checks to, which have not cleared. Alan Finley, $405 for the dance ads, $340.48 for the mailings that went to businesses to solicit for sponsorships, is that correct? I do have an invoice out to BB&T for $500. They have pledged a sponsorship for that. I'm sending an invoice to People's Bank for $100. They have pledged a sponsorship of $100 for the dance. So, gave Phil a check for the $13,1450 for the folder, so that has not cleared. So we're in great shape with money. I mean, as far as that goes, if you want to see the report, it's here. To follow up to your point from a couple of meetings ago regarding an automated dues where people could pay and there'd be an automated, I met with BB&T and a lady by the name of Ebonette Jeffcoat, supposed to call me from Treasury Services. They do provide that because we are a client. However, there is a fee. Once I get the details, I'll report back and then we can discuss if we want to use BB&T. Essentially, I think the spirit of your idea was that for dues, folks would get 4 times a year an automated invoice sent to you, then you would pay through that specific portal, which would go directly into our account. Kind of cuts me out of being the bad guy of trying to track down if you haven't paid and keep up with what you owe kind of stuff. So, so that's, once I get that information, I'll be happy to share that. Then we can talk about that. BB&T is our bank. And then if we want to go outside and go somewhere else, and we can discuss that too. So, but I want to give them first crack since we're already clients, so I'm waiting to hear from them. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. As far as I know, all the bills are paid, but I'm sure you've got some more that I'll need to pay. So I just encourage us to try to stay in our budget. I mean, we passed a budget, so as we're doing things and paying things, I think we've already got the dance budget, and we've been talking sort of about that as we're paying things. But anyway, we're in great shape, so I mean.
Did we pay the band yet?
Part of it.
Part of it?
Yeah, half, I think. I think we paid half right now. Yeah. And I'm waiting, usually the night of the dance, to answer your question, then I would pay the balance.
So Glenn, did you just get a new square for us?
Yes, it works.
Okay.
No, I've got, it's the same square after much work. I was able to port our account information, so we're good to go. The square is operable if you wish to pay today. Thank you for bringing that up. It is fully operational and can use credit cards if you want to pay dues if you haven't already done that.
I want to interject here and say that I want to make sure that we're moving forward with the St. Patty's dance, because we've got to pay some money for next year now in order to accommodate the band and the rental on the stage. So I just want to make sure we are moving forward before we pay that money, because it's not refundable.
And I got a $200 sponsor, by the way, which I'm not a salesman, so I'm absolutely proud of myself. Thank you very much.
So,
And I
so,
gave Phil a check this morning too,
yes, thank you.
for sponsorship.
Yep.
I thought we were going to do away with the stage if we could.
Well, this one we can't, the next one we can, but
That's a
I wanted to talk
sponsor.
about that.
So you're saying, you're asking the club, are we committed to do the St. Patrick's Day?
Correct.
All right, I'm gonna preempt your time for a moment and grab the floor. Sure, the chair will entertain a motion that we do that. Let's make it formal here. That we move forward on the St. Patrick's Day dance.
Yeah, I'll
Motion that we have the dance.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second that we're gonna have our St. Patrick's Day dance, and is there any discussion? For question?
Well, I think it's one of our major fundraisers. Every year the dances are, that pulls in the money. It'd be, you know, unless we have something to replace it, I don't see why we wouldn't continue on doing it.
Do we know what the date would be?
Yeah.
And I agree with what Ken said.
The date is March 17th, which is actually St. Patty's Day. Yeah.
And if you look at the Facebook responses, when we've mentioned the dance or publicized the dance, those that are not Rotarians and are Shires and other stuff are beginning to identify us as the source for these dances.
So why is it we have to vote on this thing?
Well, because there was some concern that we wouldn't have anybody to take it forward after this year.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure we're good.
And it
I know
is a
Robert
financial
stepped up and
obligation.
said,
Yeah, we've been working.
yeah, okay. I just want to make sure everybody's in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready for the question now?
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that brings up the next point about the dance. Richard and Bob have tirelessly, for many dances, put on a great effort for us to raise these funds. We all have stepped up. We're always around shortly before, during, after the dance. But what we desperately need is I'm concerned that we're going to burn these two fellows out, and they need to step back a bit. They have both agreed to help, but we really need for us to organize this a bit more, I think. You know, one of the great things about our club is that we've got a lot of energy. We step up, we do things, we get a lot of stuff done. We're not necessarily totally organized, and that's somewhat to our benefit that makes us different. But in this situation, I think we need to be a little less loosey-goosey and a little more tightly organized with some folks to pick up at, for the St. Patrick's Day dance, pick up the various functions that need to go on, the food and the setup and the ticket sales and all that stuff. So, not necessarily today, unless somebody's just dying to jump up and say.
I did that, yeah. I'll be glad to work with Bob.
You guys have been working together already, right?
Right.
Somewhat?
Yeah, we have.
And I said that I would help
Yep.
when I can. Unfortunately, I'm traveling and can't spend as much time as I like. But I have to say, this whole group has always stepped up. You know, so Kenny does the tickets and, you know, the printing and things like that. So there's always, it's not like it's going to be a job that Robert has to do all by himself, I don't think.
So he
You know,
has
'cause
to
there's
go
a bunch
find-
of other
so he has
people.
to go find a band.
But it's the logistics, we already got it, but it's the
No, I mean,
logistics
in the
behind it,
future.
and that's where Robert, or that's where Bob.
Well,
and-
that's what we gotta document and get all that
Yeah.
put together. So
Richard's working on a list for
He
that.
is.
Richard's putting together a list so that way.
Okay.
He's asked me numerous times to put the bands together and the phone
Yeah,
numbers.
he's working on that list, and I've got information for that list, so that would help
The
facilitate.
sponsors.
And there's no scariness that these fellows, that Richard and Bob are about to ride off into the sunset and leave us holding the bag.
Yeah, no.
But they, you know, it's an awful lot that lasts certainly 6 weeks to 2 months before the dance, it gets to be real crazy for them. As all the selling of the tickets, organizing the tables and all that stuff goes on. And so Robert, thank you for stepping up to help with St. Patty's and all of us for finding ways to help them, and let Bob and Richard help rather than run it.
I think Bob's already done the hardest part, which is actually finding the bands and everything. It's like
That's
a
why you
roster
gotta
of
work
bands.
this far in advance.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Bob, am I right in saying that now, like, we've got a list of a few, we can think, well, we're gonna call this one, that one that have done it before?
We do. I think the Halloween dance, we'll clip the Band of Oz the night of the dance for next year, next Halloween, and that's how we do that. But I had to do a little bit of a search. I heard these people, Blackwater Rhythm and Blues, several times, and they've agreed, since it's not quite yet the shag season where you go to the beach and you hear band after band after band, that they agreed, and they're either a 7 or 9 piece band, big presence. They've agreed for $3,000, which is a little cheaper than the band, the Band of Oz. But these are all top shelf bands, and that's what draws the crowd. So what I've got to make sure before G sends them a retainer is that we see our contract
Right.
from the Moretz Mill.
Yep, yep.
So we haven't paid for something we don't get. But with that being said, we do need to send them $1,000 for the stage. He's waiting on our.
Who are we giving the stage for?
I did 6 estimates. They came in the cheapest you keep it.
It's,
That needs to be sent in. And it's my party here in Hickory. Has agreed to do it about $100 cheaper than anybody else.
Do they set it up?
They do, and take it down.
Something to be said about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's something to be said about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Having
And
been
then
on that
moving
one
forward,
stage.
depending on what we do for the March dance, they've agreed to do it for the same price. So I'll just hold on to that for a while.
Okay.
Good, and so now, speaking of Halloween, how are we?
Ticket sales have started. We've got about 15 sold. Just people that have been to our last year's dance and didn't want to miss this year's dance. So I've got tickets. Does anybody need tickets?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Just see me after the meeting. I've got posters. For those that want to put some posters up.
Probably go down, pick some up.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
So other than that, it's up to ticket sales right now. I mean, it's just all about ticket sales.
So, as you all know, we're doing the food ourselves this year for the dance, for the Halloween dance. Richard has been the pit master for us in the past.
It's going to be a little bit of an issue this year. We're going to have to really step in for Richard. He's going to do it at his house, but for those that don't know, Richard is having ankle replacement. Ankle replacement. Serious.
Wow.
2 weeks before the dance.
Tough to do.
What happened?
Right? So it's just wore out.
Oh.
Yeah. So he does want to do it, but I'm sure he's going to be on a little wheelie, one leg up, one leg down.
Mm-hmm, yep,
And we'll just have to kick in that night and help him.
yep.
And then I think the butts, after they come off the grill, will go to Austin at the soup kitchen. They'll have to do what we've done before.
Where's that?
We have to pick them,
Pulling of the-
pick them,
Oh,
shred
is
them,
that the
shred
soup
them.
kitchen?
Yeah.
We had said that somebody would send out a copy of the ads, a blank of the ads so that we can show. Did anybody ever do that? I haven't seen it.
Yes.
I have
It
not,
went out.
I have not seen anything.
Yeah.
I've asked for it several times.
Yeah,
All right, so apparently it's
I
going to
wanted-
some members, but not all the members.
yeah, it went out.
The only thing I've seen were the tickets.
Okay.
It was handed out at one of the.
Meetings, it was one of those small things.
No, we said we were gonna email it.
Yeah, it went out. It went out.
Last week, week before?
Yeah.
You send it?
Okay. well,
No, Kenny sent
did?
it. Kenny
Okay.
sent it.
I don't think I saw it either, so,
Maybe you
did
can
you
ask.
get it?
Let me,
I have to look back at my file on my
Can
desk
you call
computer,
Kenny
but I
and see
think
if he'll
so.
send
Okay,
it?
thank you.
Guys, did we send letters out to all the businesses?
I did. I sent 88 letters to folks in Catawba County, just asking for their help,
I've been
their
checking
dire
our box.
needs, and
I've been checking our
bought
box.
so forth. Well, I actually came to my home address.
Oh, okay, well, I've been checking our box, so.
Got nothing in 2 weeks.
And I did invoice Target, I'm sorry.
right.
I invoiced Target well.
If that letter can be forwarded
Yes.
to all of us, I mean, something in print
Yes.
would definitely help us
Absolutely.
solicit
Sure.
sponsorship.
Sure.
You're saying sure, does that mean you're gonna do that?
I'll send that out, okay.
Have we added to the poster and tickets, what is going to?
This was all printed beforehand. So this is the last batch I have. Doesn't say what it's for.
I thought we were, okay.
Yeah, but this was.
We were
the
gonna
old
try, but
stock.
we couldn't
Yeah.
backfit.
Yeah.
Right, but the letter that you're gonna send out electronically, can you add it to the letter that you're sending electronically?
It says what it's for.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Absolutely.
sent an electronic
Yes.
correction of that, because I've got that too, so I can
Okay.
get the internet.
This was already printed.
But that, he fixed it and it said electronically
Oh, got
that.
it. Okay.
Remember, you got, I got it.
Richard needed it for BB&T.
Yeah, well, I got a copy of it, and I don't know who it went to, but that poster has
Okay.
scholarships for CVCC electronic poster, then you can print it and hand it, a small version, you know, an
Sure,
eight and a
sure,
half.
sure.
But to answer that question, he did do it and send it, but I don't know who got it, so, I'm
Yes.
trying to find it here.
I can cover some of this in shorthand, not all of it.
All right, anything else about the dance before we?
Just need to start selling tickets now for Ken. Tables of
Tables.
10, tickets. We're gonna do 50-50. You've got all that handled and
Yep, it'll probably be the nerds again.
it's fine.
The nerds will probably be there. to
Nerds
sell
are
them.
back.
Yep, nerds are back. Unless we find a better costume for the two of us.
Please do something about the eclipse.
That's right, that's right, something about the eclipse. All right, very quickly, I went to the Catawba County Rotary Club Presidents Meeting and chatted with other club presidents, and we talked about some things. I'm gonna ask Bob to cover that. But before that, just a quick note, let me tell you about other clubs and us. We have the most fantastic Rotary Club in the county, probably in the whole district, that's just to tell you. I mean, but when I visit with other folks and hear what's going on, and we have a great bunch of people in our club who stepped up in leadership roles. I can't tell you how much I appreciate having the folks in our leadership roles, our secretary and our treasurer and our membership folks and our club image folks and all the rest of you that have worked so much on our club. When I hear other clubs and what they're going through, I just thank God for you folks who have stepped up and made my job so easy. Because it really is all about the folks that are in the leadership roles and the club members who work so hard for a club. I mean, it's just great to be there and hear these other folks, and I get to brag a little bit, but I try not to brag too much. Quickly.
Just after he gave that speech at the President's Council, right? The President sitting beside me stood up and said, "My secretary just emailed me, they quit."
Yep.
Just like that. Boom,
Boom.
out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, background. Two things, Hunger Walk benefit corner table of Newton, Eastern Catawba Christian Cooperative Christian Ministries, group sponsors, opportunity. Phil's got that flyer, it'll probably cost us $100. K64 Rotary Clubs of Catawba County going to do a joint resolution, that'll probably cost us $100 to get on the t-shirt for K64, which is a career development program through the schools and through CVCC. This is Basic Education and Literacy Month, okay? In that regard, the district governor nominee, Tiffany Irvin, will be presenting at the Zone Institute in Orlando at the Rosen Center Hotel, which doesn't mean a hell of a lot, except Harry Rosen is a self-made millionaire or more that has that operation, and he knows how to spend his money. And we've been offered the opportunity. He grew up in Hell's Kitchen in New York City, feels an obligation to give back in the area of education and personal success. And he has started preschools and entry-level grade schools through high school with the admonition that any student who joins that program and graduates, he will pay their full ticket to college. We've been asked if we can provide books or resources for books for ages 2 to 5. Donald and I have looked over his inventory, and there are a number of opportunities there for hard goods. I think we would like to propose that the club consider giving $300 or so to this when she goes down. And we'll bundle up some books to go with it, because there are a number of books that'll never get taken by teachers at Classroom Connection. And I would like to suggest that we plan to support that. I can't imagine anybody getting a free college education just for doing their best. Phil has the, okay. President citations on the way. Oh, okay, big deal. World Polio Day, October 24. We have wanted to present the idea, and have through Rick, and got presented to the city the idea of developing a memorial location on the site. And in adjunct to that, Catawba County, no, Catawba, Hickory, anyway, one of the other clubs, can't remember her name,
Is that Mary?
yes, Mary's got set, yeah, it says Mary, has got set up the use of the Salt Center on Thursday before that Saturday. And David Eller will make a, like he did for us, only the full film of Miracle of Hickory.
Richard Eller.
Richard Eller, yeah. David Eller's a BSF. Richard will do that. He'll MC it. And starting then that Thursday night, and then Saturday we would have our production at the building site. And that gets us a lot of credit with the district and national, because we will have a programmable event that'll get us a lot of recognition. We might even get on the national broadcast out of Seattle with Bill Gates. Enough said. Mentioned Tiffany. Sunshine.
Right. You just have enough time. Yep.
No, you have to understand I'm a pedant. For those of you who don't know enough about the English language, pedants are people who pick at words and definitions and usage. No English dictionary has been able to adequately explain the difference between two words. In a recent linguistic competition held in London and attended by supposedly the best in the world, Sandar Baglibin, a Guyanese man, was the clear winner with a standing ovation which lasted over 5 minutes. The final question was, how do you explain, listen carefully, how do you explain the difference between complete and finished? In a way that is easy to understand. Some people say that there is no difference between complete and finished, but here is his very astute answer. When you marry the right woman, you are complete. When you marry the wrong woman, you are finished. And when the right one catches you with the wrong one, you are completely finished. We agree, he won. We may say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
I've got tickets for those who need.
I told you you'd like that.
Hey, Robert, are you getting tickets?